11 years of experience right now, and out of those 11 years, I have been working in the SAP domain for around 10 years. From During this 10 years, I have worked in Business One, I have worked in ABAP, I have worked in material management a bit, I have worked in sales and distributions also a bit, and now I have started. I've been working for in UI technology for the last 5 years now. The From these 5 years, the 5 years have been in SAP UI5 and SAP Fiori. I've also worked for around 3 years in SAP HANA, and now I am getting my hands dirty in IoT things. I'm not sure if you're aware of IoT. It's the Internet of Things now. I have been doing freelancing for around 6 to 7 years now, and I have been a corporate trainer for around 8 to 9 years. This has been physical trainings and also trainings, online trainings. So all is included in there. All right. Let's go further then. So before we go into the course, just a brief intro about the SAP UI5 and SAP Fiori. I've already done this during the first demo, but just a brief so that everyone is aware of what we are dealing with and everyone is aware of what was covered in the first demo session. So as this is showing up on your desktops. So you can see that. Okay, so I understand that a lot of you have not been were not able to join the first demo. So this I will start from scratch. So this is the screen where I started. So what happened in SAP world? If you have been working in SAP, I'm not sure about your previous backgrounds. If you have been working in SAP or not, if you're a technical guy or not, or a lady or not. But the just to start from the scratch, SAP started its working in around 1980s, and at that point of time there was no GUI, as in there was no Windows, there was no Macintosh, there was no Linux screens, there was only command prompt at that point of time. And hence SAP also started with the command prompt. If you can see my screen on the left hand side down corner where my pointer is pointing, that's the first interface from which SAP started with, and slowly and steadily it moved on to SAP GUI, which is currently the most favored GUI or the UI technology in SAP world. But since the world changes every single day, every single time, hence SAP also has to evolve, and it started from GUI and then it worked on its way to WebDintro, and that's WD on your screens if you can see that. So the WebDintro was actually supposed to be a browser-based interface for SAP GUI itself. They had exposed SAP GUI in a browser-based environment and tried to make it work, but it did not really work or gel with the browser because of a major reason that's called the stateless and full applications. We will be talking about these terms in some time, but right now please try and understand that SAP has been evolving its user interface since last 20 years or 20 years, yeah, around 20 years, and trying to get that perfect UI. And now SAP has come up with the latest of the frameworks or latest of the technology that's called the UI5, which is the JavaScript-based UI, JavaScript plus HTML plus CSS-based UI. This is a lot more faster than the WebDintro, lot more intuitive and helpful for the users. And that's what we are doing here. So a few things about SAP UI5. SAP UI5 is actually device agnostic. What do you mean by device agnostic? Device agnostic means that SAP UI5 or SAP Fiori is actually based on top of SAP UI5. So SAP UI5 is the framework on which, or the technology on which the SAP Fiori is based on. So SAP UI5 is inherently device agnostic. As I was saying, what actually means device agnostic? Device agnostic means that you code once. You can code you only need to code once, and it will work on all the devices. It will adjust its UI automatically, intuitively into a phone, uh, into a smartphone UI, into a tablet UI, or into a desktop UI. You don't really need to code separately for them. Although you can still code for them separately, but it is not really required. SAP UI5 framework takes care of that code for you. So as I was saying, SAP UI5 actually stands for SAP UI5, SAP UI Development Kit for HTML5. HTML5 is the latest standard in the web development. HTML5 is right now coming out into the world of web, and JavaScript, CSS, all of them are included in HTML5. I hope everyone is aware of HTML5. HTML is a hypertext markup language. This is the language of the web. This is the markup language of the web with which everyone can put buttons and layouts and things like that on a UI. So markup HTML in means hypertext markup language. When I say markup language, it means the language with which you can put buttons and other things on the browser. Buttons and the layouting. You can do the layouting of the browser. That's the correct word. Yeah. So SAP UI5 is the front-end design language which is used for currently SAP UI5 apps or the Fiori apps also. The major 5 principles which SAP is driving UI5 with are that you only have to code once on any screen, and it will work on any screen or on any device. And that's the beauty of SAP UI5, that you can get out of the box right away. Then talking about the cutting edge controls. So if you have seen SAP UI5, I'm not sure. So let me just show you some controls in SAP UI5. Sorry. So this is the Bible of SAP. This is the help files of SAP UI5, which are freely available on the net. And it takes a little time. And I wish to go to the low ones. So while that is coming up, so this application is also based in SAP UI5. So you can see here there are all 181 controls which have been created by SAP for SAP UI5. So what I'm trying to say is it already has a plethora of controls, a bucket full of controls for you to develop your own application. You don't really need to invent the wheel again and again. It's already there. So you can use those cutting edge controls which have been already tested. All of these controls have already been tested by SAP itself. They all meet SAP standards. Then there is also theming and branding. So if you can see, the background color is around turquoise blue. That's what they call it, turquoise blue. These colors and these icons, these fonts, everything can be changed because of the theming and the branding theming tools that are provided with SAP UI5. So if tomorrow Coca-Cola wants you to implement SAP Fiori at their end, you can change the color to red. And if next day Pepsi wants it, then you can change it to red and blue. So that's up to you or up to the client what kind of theme you want. Then these are traditionally SAP's UI, WebDyn Pro, CRM, have been very slow, in response and performance, and the user gets off with them. But now, what SAP is planning is SAP is planning to take on the might of the web world. They are trying to compete with the websites like Amazon, Flipkart, and Snapdeals of the world. When they are trying to compete with Amazon, Google, right, Facebook, etc., they have to be at par in performance and at par in efficiency and speed with that. And that's the idea behind SAP F5, so that they can also be at par, or they can compete with these web giants of the world and still say that we are the SAP is still the enterprise software, the chosen enterprise software of the world. Again, these are very lightweight applications because they are all written in HTML, UI5, and CSS and JavaScript. Hence, they are not really very heavy. They do not have the heaviest of the footprints as earlier SAP applications used to have. So, for example, if you have to have an SAP, if you have to learn SAP ABAP, or if you have to work on SAP MM, or you have to do something like that, you have to have a trial version of SAP ABAP is already around 80 gigs or something, which needs to be downloaded. But here you don't really need to download any kind of SAP proprietary software. You can start learning from scratch right away, and also deploying right away. What about the SAP UF5's future? Do you really think SAP UF5 will succeed in the enterprise world? Well, most of the Fortune companies, most of the Fortune 500 companies are already running SAP software, and they want to move to the mobile platforms, which is now possible due to SAP UF5. Earlier, it was not very rugged and it was very cumbersome moving to mobile. They had to call a third-party vendor, and then they had to do some UI stuff. They had to call HTML, JavaScript. But now SAP is providing that technology on its own, which is already mobile ready, and hence the Fortune 500 companies are trying to move towards the mobile platforms which are based on the UF5 itself. By 2017, SAP is targeting to move all its core applications to UF5 or SAP Fiori. Right now, also, if you have been in touch with the SAP world, SAP has already moved its financials to simplified financials, which is nothing but FICO module into SAP Fiori. Most of the new or all of the new implementation projects are using SAP UF5 applications because there is nothing else that you can do. Now, if you have to have finance, you have to have simplified finance. You have to have simplified suite for it, and that simplified suite is based on UF5. It is based on HANA, and that's where I'm coming from. That's why I am telling you that the future of SAP's UI is SAP UF5. That's the kind of trust that SAP is bestowing on the SAP UF5. So in future, what will be the ABAP people doing? ABAP people would need to know, as in my humble opinion, will need to know UF5 as a core technology. Only ABAP will not be able to suffice them for long. They need and they will have to learn SAP UF5 to get better chances, better things in the world of SAP. There are already pretty big demands for SAP UF5 candidates. There are demands in Qatar and UAE and Abu Dhabi, in Texas and US, and most of the US countries, in Europe, Germany, Netherlands. These are all the countries where I have been asked to join. So I'm just letting you know that these are the countries which are already looking for SAP UF5 consultants, and as well as, of course, India. Sorry. the people who are non-SAP in this call, they can also learn SAP F5 very quickly, because SAP F5 is a front end, is JavaScript UF library. It is not very, it is not proprietary SAP ABAP kind of thing. You can learn it from your own. You can learn it pretty quickly. That's my opinion about it. But you need to know the integrities of the SAP F5, and that's where we come in, the trainers, the faculties. So you can leverage on our experience on SAP F5, SAP Fiori, and get things in shape, well in shape, before anyone asks you about SAP F5 or Fiori. SAP is already trying to advocate outsiders outside of SAP ecosystem to learn SAP Fiori and UF5, so that it can spread its wings a lot more. It's all based on OOPS concept. So if you are aware of the OOPS things, you would be pretty comfortable with SAP F5 after the course also. So OOPS is object-oriented programming structure. I'm pretty sure that most of you are aware of object-oriented things, but if even if you are not aware of them, I'll make sure that I give a few intermediate links and intermediate sessions on OOPS, so that you can understand them a lot better. With SAP F5, you can build any application. You can build all the applications that can connect to any interface. It does not really require an SAP specific backend. It does not really require only SAP NetWeaver backend or the HANA Access platform. You can also connect to Oracle of the world, or Sun Solar of the world. You can also connect to the JDBC, to Microsoft, to any platform that you can think of. You can use this SAP F5 to connect to any of these systems. It could be an MS SQL, it could be OpenDB, or anything that you can really think of. Right now, still, there in the market, there is a dearth of people who are not trained on SAP F5, and there is a high demand, but that demand is not being met by the number of people that are in the market for SAP F5. So if you learn SAP F5 now, it is a niche skill set. It will be your core skill in future. You will be able to benefit from it in the long run. It will be your strength, apart from because you can. If you learn UF5, you also learn JavaScript, HTML, CSS. You will be on the high end of the market as soon as all of the SAP turns to the SAP Fiori suite. Right now, the backend is NetWeaver Gateway. That is the core of SAP systems. But in future, the core of the SAP systems is going to be HANA. SAP is trying to move itself from NetWeaver to HANA very strongly, very quickly, because SAP wants to have the whole set of the pie. There is no room for development if their half of the pie is being eaten by Oracle's database or Microsoft's database. So HANA was developed with that strategy in keeping in mind, and the front-end language for HANA is SAP F5. So, my opinion, you should be learning about SAP F5 really soon. Of course, SAP F5 is the next version of the Web10 Pro, but it's hell better than SAP Web10 Pro now. As I already told you why you should learn SAP F5 and SAP Fiori. This is the future strategy of SAP right now. There are many technologies that are already available, like Web10 Pro, BSP, but SAP F5 is the way forward, and SAP F5 will be the core technology for SAP Fiori and SAP HANA. The SAP F5 library is out of the box available on HANA, as I already told you. From NetWeaver 7.4, it is also available on NetWeaver inbuilt, so you don't really need to add on any add-ons. It is freely available. SAP Fiori is also freely available now by the for the customers, but still installation or implementation is still required, and that's where the implementation consultants are required, and the developers are also required to fill in the gaps if there are any in the SAP Fiori world. And mind you, there are still gaps which there will always be a demand for custom development, and that would be that's where the Fiori developers and UI5 developers will come into picture in the future. That would be for improving and extending SAP UI5. So, in case you would like to modify out of the box of SAP Fiori apps, you should be mastering the SAP UI5. SAP UI5 is required for SAP Fiori. It is the first time in the SAP's history, that's my opinion, that SAP's UI does not need to be installed on your computer. You do not really need to download a lot of software from SAP. You just open up a website and it works out of the box. And that's what SAP UI5 is unique about. SAP Fiori projects are unique about. They help you. They take that burden. They take that footprint, megabytes of data out of your context, and all that you would need to think about is how you can help the customers, how you can give them creative solutions, how you can use design thinking to meet their needs by using SAP UI5. As I previously also told you that SAP UI5 is device agnostic. Device agnostic in other words also means SAP UI5 is responsive design, and that means it can run on desktop, table, and smartphone with equal ease. Whereas in other Web Pro languages or other CRM languages, it was never such the case. All of the modern browsers are supported by SAP Custom, SAP UI5 framework, because it is based on HTML5, and most of the modern browsers are based on HTML5. Every browser that can run HTML5 can run SAP UI5 also. As I already showed you, the SAP UI5 has become a huge library with around 181 controls now, which are a result of very heavy duty, very hard work, smart and hard both included work for creating these controls. They already support internationalization, meaning they already support multiple languages out of the box. You can have Arabic, you can have English, you can have Chinese, and then there are apps for all of them. These all are based on MVC concept. That's one of the most solid grounds for creating web applications and makes serious business app development possible. SAP has already created around 600 something apps, which I have already seen till now, and is making a lot of great progress in development tools. So now they have shifted from SAP Eclipse to Web IDE, and we would be working in SAP Web IDE. We would not be using SAP Eclipse in our course because SAP Web IDE is the way forward. It also has a graphical layout editor, which actually can help you create your own user interface in minutes, not in days or hours, in minutes. From my personal standpoint, if you do not really learn SAP UI5 now in 2015, I really think that it would be too late to be in the SAP world by 2016. SAP already provides a theme editor which can help you create logos and colors. I've already talked about that. And then SAP UI5 uses OData protocol. I would be talking a lot more about OData protocol and the uses of the OData in SAP UI5 and SAP world itself. But for right now, please try and understand that OData is an open data protocol which is being supported by SAP and Microsoft and a lot of other companies also. SAP has already open sourced its project, the SAP UI5 as open source. So if you look for Open UI5, this whole Open UI5 is also based on SAP UI5. It is an SAP technology right now. So if you can see this, it is SAP technology. It is SAP UI5, and nothing is different from here to SAP UI5. You can also see all the people who are actually using SAP UI5 now. There's Dunan, Adidas, TUI, Weka, Springfield, Colgate. You can see most of the big companies are here. All right. So, as I have already mentioned, in my humble opinion, please do make sure that you learn SAP UI5 if you would like to continue with the SAP world. Any questions up till now? Okay. So, I don't see any questions coming out, so I will continue with this demo. So, a few things about the. It moves very fast. Sorry. A few things about the apps. Mm. I thought there was a question. So, anyways, so a few things about the mobile development. Before we go there, should we have a look at the? So I have actually covered a bit about the SAP UI5, and maybe I wanted to cover about the yeah, course contents. Maybe later also I will go quickly through the rest of the demo, and then I will quickly cover the course contents. So there can be three kinds of different mobile apps. One can be a native mobile app. These are the apps which are developed using the iOS or the Android and the Java and now .NET also for Windows applications. These are all available as an they need to be installed from the App Store. They cannot be straight away executed by pulling up a link or something. Then there are the mobile web apps. These mobile apps are created by using HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and these are accessed via the browsers like the Chrome, the Firefox, IE, and others, or Safari. And then there are the hybrid apps. These hybrid apps wrap the HTML, wrap the JavaScript, CSS frameworks, and then they are converted into installable executable files, and these files are then installed on the mobile. In the mobile, they open up their own native browser, and then they open up a web page of that app. But our SAP Fiori or SAP UI5 lies in the second one right now, mobile web app. So you don't really need to install it. You can just open up it and the other web browser. In future, it might be a hybrid mobile app. That's what they are looking at with the Capsule browser. If you have searched about or talked about Capsule, please have a look. Features of SAP UI5, I've already stated them, but let's just have a look at them. A few more things. They are there for delighting the user. They are there for fostering innovation, meaning the extensibility that they have, the extensibility of SAP 5 controls is unmatchable in the SAP world. They have timeless SAP data consumption, meaning they can be used to consume data from any SAP uh, system. Of course, they have to be standard OData, or they have to be standardized, but they can absorb data from any backend, SAP backend or Oracle backend or Microsoft backend. That does not matter. SAP has very fast release cycles for SAP F5 currently, and their user interface services are pretty good. Of course, SAP always uses SAP standards to create their own SAP F5 things. The openness and the flexibility that is being done for SAP F5 is remarkable. These, for example, if you look at the technology which SAP F5 already uses is HTML5, and these are the things, green things that you can see. These are already there inside SAP. The HTML5, jQuery, OData, OpenAjax, CSS3, LACE, D3.js, Area. If you have worked on web technologies, or if you know, have some hints about web technology, you would be knowing a bit about HTML5, jQuery, something like that, and CSS, of course. So it is already built on top of these technologies. These already encompasses all of these technologies. So it is pretty easy to extend, very easy to learn also. Then you have, and then it also runs on the various different SAP platforms already available, like HANA Cloud, NetWeaver, Azure, HANA Access, and other non-SAP servers also. I have not really listed all the other non-SAP softwares here, because we would be working on, during this course, we would be concentrating on SAP softwares only. On a bigger picture, this is the architecture of SAP F5. There are three layers. There's the application layer, which is the NetWeaver ABAP, or it could be the HANA Access.js. The application layer would be conduct the DB layer or the SAP backend. On top of that, there would be the NetWeaver gateway or Access OData gateway. And on top of that, there would be the application client. This is the browser that we are talking about. The browser would be used to render the UI, and these browsers could be from varying different devices, like the mobile, the laptops, the tablets, the desktops, any device that can run a browser can actually, even your TV can run SCP-5. I just thought about that. If your TV can run HTML5 browser, it can run UF5 or SAP Fiori language, SAP Fiori apps. Any questions up till now? Okay. So I will quickly run through the basic architecture and the best paradigm with it. Give me just a sec. Yeah. So because only 15 minutes are left, so what I will do is I will really run through these things. I will not cover. I will just give you an overview of MVC right now. So MVC is the model view controller paradigm to develop apps, and SAP UI5 is based on this model view controller creation. What it means that the application on the whole is divided into three components: the model, the view, and the controller. View is the layout. Model is the one which manages the data and also notifies the changes on the views, and the controller is the one which changes the model and in the end which updates the view. We will be talking about in detail about MVC later during our course, during the commencement of our course. different types of the views that are available in UEFI would be the XML view, JS view, JSON view. JS means JavaScript view. JSON, we'll talk about the JSON view later, and the HTML view. These are the different development paradigms you can have. This is the actual structure, folder structure of SAP UEFI code. We'll be talking about that later also. That's the Eclipse front end, but in future there would be no Eclipse. There would only be SAP Web ID. So we would be doing SAP Web ID. We would not do SAP Eclipse. SAP Eclipse is already now passed. During my last training, SAP Eclipse was the thing to do then and now, but now it's all changed. Now you should be aware of SAP Web ID. So we would be doing SAP Web ID. So this is what we are trying to do. We are upgrading our own training course as and when time passes, and as there is a new technology available which is better, we adopt that in our training course. That's the typical backend for SAP NetWeaver. That's a gateway SCGW transaction where you create the services for SAP UEFI or SAP Fiori. That's where you can test your services as the NetWeaver Gateway Client. We would be doing that later, and I will tell you how to test them, how to debug them, and how to consume them in your SAP UEFI libraries. We would be assisting you in online. I would be assisting you. Yeah, so it would be me who would be assisting you in SAP HANA Web ID access. I would help you in getting that HANA trial account. I would also help you set up the SAP Fiori applications in them, so you can create your own applications. You can create your own things in the SAP Fiori. So I would be doing all that for you in this during this training. Then you have the these are the few customer testimonials which I wanted to share with you. I'm very excited to see such positive results from SAP's user experience strategy in such a short time. That's the saying from Benjamin Salter. Then the Colgate CEO is also up with SAP Fiori. SAP Fiori is as easy to use as Facebook, Google, or Amazon. That's exactly what I was talking about during the start of this demo, that SAP wants to compete with these web giants to deliver a better or an equal experience. And then, then there were also leading consultancy firm also, which it probably is Gartner, but I'm not sure if I can get the name, but I have a clue that this would be the Gartner firm which has said these nice things about SAP UEFI. Sorry, any questions about SAP UEFI till now? If no, then we will move on to the SAP course contents, the UEFI course contents that I would be covering during this course. No questions? Okay, then I'll go further. The course that I would be covering would be the introduction to SAP UEFI, so that I have already done now. I would be covering the architecture in detail. I would be telling you what's the difference between SAP UEFI and Fiori. I would be showing you the SAP UEFI development process, software components overview, and also the installation of SAP UEFI if needed. I would be working with you for SAP NetWeaver Gateway also. I would be showing you the configuration that is needed for gateway modeling, also the enhancing the EXT methods. Also showing you the how to activate and test the services. We'll show you the reading and creating and updating of the data by services and what all associations mean. In the OData, I would be explaining you what is the HTTP protocol, Data transfer using JSON. What is JSON? What data basics? Open using open services, REST services, XML, HTTP request, GET, POST, put and delete operations also. The front-end component I would be covering with the MVC architecture, HTML basics, CSS3 basics, JavaScript, jQuery, different views, different layouts like the matrix, grid, form, etc. I would also be helping you with the sample program for SAP UI5, OData binding concepts, mobile libraries. I would be showing you the introduction there. I would actually be creating a program with you for using the mobile controls. I will show you different controls also some advanced controls like the charting library, tables, mobile deployment, etc. In Fiori, I will show you the basics of the Fiori, simple Fiori applications, how to use Fiori templates, creating Fiori application in 3 minutes. I can help you with that. Of course, there would be a mock-up creation also that's needed, and I would of course be giving you the best practices that can be done. Whole of this course would be hands-on. You would never be out of the system. You would always be working on code or on NetWeaver or on HANA platforms. And there would be real-time system integration scenarios, which I would be letting you know. I would be telling you how to get the software also. I would help you in getting the SAP. We would help you in getting the SAP system access. And also, last but not least, how to create end-to-end UI applications in CAN system, requirement analysis, design principles, development, debugging, common problems, and things like that. Okay, so that was what I had planned for today. If you have any questions now. You can unmute yourself, or you can also type in the chat box. If you have any question about anything, any course related, content related, or FAIR related, or UFI related question, I can answer that right now. You can also ask personal questions, but not too personal. Would it be weekend or weekdays? We still need to decide on that one. It would be Vijay, you there? Vijay? What would be the timing of the course? Vijay? So we still need to discuss that, and then we'll finalize it. So it will depend on everyone, not only me or one Vijay, but it will depend on all of us. So Vijay will be letting you know about that. Duration of this course is around 30 to 40 hours. From when the course would start? The course would start by tomorrow. So this is today's first day.
Hello.